Well, it appears that there's some conflict brewing between Canadians, Mexicans, China, and America. We're considered in Canada trusted partners in the world, and it might get really ugly, unfortunately, because of tariffs. If you don't already know, I'm Lisa, and I have over 25 years of experience working in human resources in several different industries, and I'm an HR director right now. Today, we'll talk about how the potential tariff trade war between these countries can impact your job, your career, and your financial future. Specifically, we'll focus on the tariffs between Canada and America that could affect employees, what you can expect to see in the workplace, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. Let's delve into it. Let's define what a tariff is first. If you're not familiar with them, a tariff is a tax or a fee that a country puts on goods that are brought into the country from another country. After March 4th, 2025, if you're American and you want to buy a produce imported from Canada, for example, in your grocery store, you'll be paying way more. In Canada, they have similar tariffs that are going to come into place on American goods. So the same thing is going to happen to them as well. If you choose to buy produce sold in the grocery store that's imported from America, you'll be paying way more. So no one's really winning. That extra price will likely be applied, and it's called a tariff. These tariffs basically make everything more expensive for people purchasing them. It creates a barrier to trade between the countries that puts the tariffs in place and can sometimes reduce the quantities of items. What do countries use tariffs for? Well, countries might use tariffs to make people buy things made in their own country instead of other places. This strategy might protect their businesses and jobs as it pushes people to buy local. It also means that you might not be able to get certain products in your country if they don't produce the product, like in Canada, for example, because it's cold a lot of the time. When the US or Canada imposes tariffs on each other's products, it can cause a ripple effect that impacts businesses, industries, and ultimately us, the employees. For example, higher tariffs on cars means auto workers in Canada and Mexico are impacted. On February 9, 2025, the President of the United States stated that America is imposing tariffs on steel and aluminum imported from other countries, effective, I believe it's March 12th, to follow, plus additional retaliatory tariffs will be announced. In terms of the steel industry, that should definitely increase the cost of cars for all of us. Canada has applied retaliatory tariffs of about $30 billion of goods coming in from America into our country. Also, some stores in Canada will just stop selling products that come from America. For example, the Premier of Ontario, Ford, has ordered the LCBO stores to not store American liquor on their shelves, and that's going to start on March 4th. All countries involved with these tariffs face layoffs, factory shutdowns, or relocations possibly. Agriculture tariffs could drive up food prices and hurt farmers, making it harder for small businesses to survive. Steel and aluminum tariffs mean higher costs for construction and manufacturing as well as auto, impacting jobs and business growth in those areas. So tariffs can affect what we buy, how much we pay for things, and even the jobs in the country that impose the tariff. So, as I said before, no one's really winning. Focusing in on Canada and America, as of February 9, 2025, as I said before, the United States and Canada have implemented significant tariffs on each other's goods and services set to take effect on March 4th, 2025. I have included a table on screen with a potential list of the types of products and services that might be affected. If you'd like the official list, you have to refer to the official government publication on their sites. The Canadian site lists most items at a 25% tariff on $30 billion in goods of things imported from America into Canada. Mexico is going to be hit with huge tariffs on the American imports, but at the filming of this video, it has not imposed any retaliatory tariffs. China is facing 10% tariffs on goods that are coming from China into America. And China has added $40 billion in goods that will similarly be taxed on American imports to China. So up on screen right now is basically a list of the type of areas that are going to be impacted. So you can see crude oil, automotive products, vehicles, agriculture products like oranges, apples, potatoes, wheat, dairy products, consumer goods like electronics, phones, TVs, household goods, to just name a few for you. So why is the U.S. imposing the tariff in the first place? The U.S. is indicating it all comes down to protecting their borders from illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and trade imbalances. So, okay, we talked a lot about the tariffs. So, how is this going to directly affect jobs in Canada and the US? Well, there are 5 key impacts that I see. Number one, job losses in certain industries. When tariffs are applied or are increased, businesses may find it more expensive to import goods from the other country. This can lead to job cuts, especially in industries that heavily rely on cross-border trade. For example, manufacturing, agricultural, retail sectors could see layoffs as companies struggle to absorb those increased costs. America is Canada's biggest trade partner, so it's particularly detrimental for Canada. Number two, reduced job growth. New job creation might slow down in industries that rely on imports. With tariffs pushing up costs, businesses may delay expanding or hiring new employees. For workers in sectors like technology, automotive, or construction, this may mean fewer opportunities for growth. Number three, wage pressures. Some businesses may not be able to pass on the increased costs of tariffs to customers and instead might cut back on employee wages or bonuses to offset the higher costs. This puts additional pressures on workers' earning and job security. Number four, increased cost of living. As companies face higher input costs due to the tariffs, they may pass these costs on to the consumers in the form of higher prices. This could make everyday products, including food, electronics, more expensive, reducing your purchasing power. And number five, supply chain disruptions. Tariffs can disrupt global supply chains, which may impact the availability of certain goods. If you are working in logistics, shipping, or customer service, you may experience job stress or even job losses as companies reassess their global supply chains and try to adapt. Now we know what tariffs can potentially do to companies. So what can you do as an employee to protect yourself from these potential job impacts? Here are 7 practical steps. Number one, an emergency fund. First up is making sure you have an emergency fund. Economic uncertainty often comes with job instability. A solid emergency fund can help cushion you through periods of unemployment or reduced hours. We all need to make sure we have an emergency fund regardless of tariffs. You need them for essential things that are unexpected, and life is filled with a number of unexpected challenges all the time. Start putting away what you can into an emergency fund so that you have funds available when you need it. Financial experts always say to aim to save at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses to give yourself peace of mind. There are normally waiting periods for employment insurance and or other government benefits and last paychecks, so you want to be sure you're prepared. Number two, network and stay informed. Stay connected with industry professionals in your sector and keep an eye on economic trends for the type of work you do. Stay connected with your network with the information coming from your employer. There is nothing wrong with asking your manager what's anticipated, how can you help, and what is the long-term forecast for the business. Being aware of tariff changes, government policies, and global trade news will help you understand the impact on your sector and better prepare for any changes. You know the saying, knowledge is power. Number three, diversify your job search and network. I'm not saying to leave your employer, but it's not a bad idea to expand your professional network. Connecting with people from different industries is a good strategy for you, and you can do that both online, such as using LinkedIn or industry events, and offline, conferences and job fairs, for example. If your current industry is heavily impacted by tariffs, having connections in other sectors can help you find new opportunities if required, bringing the skills, abilities, and knowledge you've already created. Number four, consider freelance side hustles or other remote work. If you feel your job is at risk, consider freelance or side hustles. Many skills can be turned into freelance work, such as writing, design, consulting, or teaching. And that list that I just gave you is just a sampling. There are lots of other things that you can use to create a freelance opportunity for yourself or a side hustle. Remote work at another job, even part-time, opens up possibilities for employment outside of your local market. Whether it's in the US, Canada, or beyond, it's a good plan to start thinking about how you can diversify your income streams. It can be a little more complicated for remote work as the company has to follow the employment rules of the province or state and country you reside, but it's worthwhile to look into. Number five, stay flexible and open to change. Just like your company might need to adapt to change, you need to be open and ready to taking on new roles or responsibilities at work, even if it's outside of your usual job description. Companies facing economic uncertainty may need employees to be more adaptable to different tasks and workflows. Demonstrating flexibility increases your chances of retaining your position or moving to a new one within the same organization. A lot of companies are panicking and they need your expertise to get through these trials. Number 6, budgeting at home. There are some steps you can take at home to save money and make your money go farther to help you as well. Starting with little things like turning down the heat a bit, so wear a sweater. If you're in a hot climate, turn up the air conditioner and take off the sweater. What about turning your water heater down if it is set, for example, at 120 Fahrenheit or 49 Celsius? This simple adjustment can reduce your water heating cost by 6 to 10% yearly without affecting the hot water you use for showers or washing dishes. Meal planning and making larger batches of food can really help. You can then bring that food for lunch the next day. Buy in bulk to save money and eat at home more to save money. Meal planning and making larger batches of food can really help. These are just a few quick tips, and I'm sure if you look around the house, you can find more. And lastly, number 7, upskill and diversify your skills. One of the best ways to protect yourself is by becoming more valuable in your field. This means upskilling, learning new tools, technologies, or certifications. The more versatile you are, the less likely you will be impacted by economic downturns or industry shifts due to tariffs. You can do some of this for free online at your public library, or if there's a university or college in your town, you can access their library, and usually they have free courses. Tariffs are a real threat. If they're actually imposed, they will impact jobs, wages, and a variety of industries. It's important for you to stay proactive now to assess your financial situation, staying proactive with your networks and creating new ones, improving your skill set, and understanding how global changes can impact you whether you live in a big city or a small town. Remember, it's always a good idea to stay informed, prepare for change, and adapt as needed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And oh yeah, okay, see, this, I don't know why it did it like this. This is messed up, man. Tariffs are a real threat. Tariffs are a real threat. If they are actually